Hello friends, in this video lecture we are going to discuss our next topic of operating system, which is called as deadlock detection. Okay. In the last lecture of the operating system series, we have discussed about the concept of deadlock avoidance with the help of Banker's algorithm. So if you have not referred to the concept of Banker's algorithm, then you'll have to take a look at that lecture so that you can get the idea of deadlock avoidance. So in this lecture, in continuation with that, we are talking about the deadlock detection. Deadlock detection is another approach which is used to detect the deadlocks if we cannot avoid it. So Banker's algorithm was the concept which was used for avoidance. Okay, and in this deadlock detection process, we try to let the deadlock happen, then we detect it, and we'll try to recover it. Okay, so deadlock detection strategies actually dependent on two parts. That is, it says if we have single instance of each resource type. Means in our system we have multiple resources, but all the resources may have only single instance available. Okay, and second probability may be that we have several instances of a resource type. It means we may have multiple resources and all of these resources may have several instances available. Okay, so if we have this type of system state in which we have single instance of each resource type, we try to detect or identify cycles. Okay, and in this case we have a particular algorithm to deal with such situations. So in this lecture we'll try to discuss our first approach, in which we have a single instance of each resource type available. Okay, so to detect the cycles in such type, we take the help of a special graph which is called as wait for graph, or WFG, called as wait for graph. Okay, now this wait for graph is a variation. So this wait for graph is a variation of our RAG. RAG stands for resource allocation graph, that we have discussed earlier while discussing the starting part of deadlock. Okay, there we have discussed how to create these resource allocation graphs and how to identify or find the cycles and so on. So WFG or wait for graph is a variation of resource allocation graph, and this wait for graph is created by eliminating the resources and collapsing the associated edges. So if we follow this process, we can get the wait for graph from the corresponding resource allocation graph. Okay, so let us understand it with the help of example. Let us say we have a resource allocation graph available as, in which we have multiple processes and multiple resources. So let us say we have a process P1, next we have a process P2, next we have a process P3, then we have a process say P4, or at last we have a process named P5. Okay, and along with that we have resources named as R1, and next we have R2, next we have R3, next we have say R4, and at last we have one more resource R5. Okay, and all these resources are having only one instance, so that's why it is called as a single instance. Okay, now this this resource allocation graph has the edges given as P1 to R1, R1 is allocated to P2, P2 is waiting for R3, and R3 is allocated to P5, P2 is also waiting for R4, and this R4 is allocated to P3, this P3 is waiting for R5, and R5 is allocated to P4, and P2 is waiting for R5, P4 is waiting for R2, and R2 is allocated to P1. Okay. So this is the sample resource allocation graph given to us, and we have to convert this graph into its corresponding wait for graph so that we can detect the cycles. So what is the approach? The approach that we have pointed out here is like this, that we have to eliminate the resources and collapse the associated edges. Okay, so we are trying to eliminate the resources from it. So first we will take the processes, that is P1, next we have P2, then we have P3, next we have P4, and at last we have P5. Okay, now what we will do, we will try to eliminate the resources from the graph. So first if we take a look at this R1, so P1 is waiting for R1 resource, and this R1 is allocated to P2. So indirectly we can say that P1 is waiting for the resource which is actually allocated to P2. So when P2 will finish this its work, this resource will be automatically free. So indirectly we can say that P1 is waiting for P2. Okay, so we'll eliminate the resource and we'll draw an edge from P1 to P2, denoting that P1 is waiting for P2 to finish. Similarly, P2 needs a resource which is allocated to P5. So P2 is waiting for R5 to finish. Here, if we eliminate R4, then we can see that P2 is waiting for R4 and this R4 is allocated to P3. Then we can say P2 is waiting for P3 to finish. Similarly, P3 is waiting for P4 to finish. P2 is also waiting for P4 to finish. Why? Because P2 is waiting for R5 and it is allocated to P4. And this P4 is waiting for P1 to finish. Okay. Now we can see this graph is containing two cycles, that is cycle number 1 and cycle number 2. Okay. So what was our idea behind this? We were trying to identify or detect the cycles. So as we can see that we have found the cycles, so we can say that this system is in deadlock. Okay, so it means if graph has cycles, and which graph? This is WFG. So if wait for graph has cycles, it means there is a deadlock. Else, no deadlock. Else means if our graph is containing no cycle, then it means our system is in safe state and there is no chance of deadlock or no probability of deadlock. Okay, so this is our first deadlock detection technique that we use to detect in case of single instance of each resource type. Okay, so this is it for now, and in the next lecture we will discuss about our next technique which is used to find the deadlocks in the case of several instances of a resource type, and there we use an algorithm which is called as deadlock detection algorithm. And if you have any query, then you can ask in our comment section, and if you like our videos, then kindly subscribe our channel. Thank you so much.